Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we will talk about something that is not Minecraft related, but instead Five Nights at Freddy's related. I know, you thought this day would never come. But anyways, on to the point. Some of you might know me because I comment often on this one YouTube channel called Cin Tan Studios. But so fans of that channel, I actually talked with Cin Tan through the comments section. It was on an old community post, like to a link to a story of what if the wait, no, that's the wrong one. If one of the children got away, that is what I was supposed to say. Just ignore that, everyone. So here's a quick recap of what happened in that. It's basically the normal FNAF timeline, but Charlie finally got enough brain cells to say, "Hey, William is sus. I'm gonna run away." And then she ends up saving Cassidy, but the other four dead. And then William is put into jail for 10 years. And then 10 years later, Cassidy lands a job at the new Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and Charlie is like, "No, that place is haunted," and Cassidy is like, "Did you take some of that LSD I gave you?" And Charlie's like, no, you just trust me. Don't go near that place. But Cassie is like, screw you. I can make my own decisions. So she goes to the night shift, and she's like, hey, these things are creepy at night. And then she goes to the office and checks herself out in the mirror. And then the animatronics start attacking her, and she's like, oh, frick. Charlie was telling the truth. Then, she finds out that the animatronics are actually, the dead children, and then, she and Charlie lure William to the pizzeria, and the animatronics just kill him. And that's it. Now you might be wondering, random channel, why are you saying all of this? And that is because in that conversation that I talked about earlier, I asked something that I've been wondering about that what if for a while. What happened to the character Michael? And Cin Tan Studios replied that he would leave that to interpretation. And then I asked if I could make this video, and he said, yeah, sure. Got already 4 minutes. This is gonna be one of those videos that is where the intro is longer than the actual video, isn't it? Anyways, the court cases. Michael was against William because Michael was smart. He knew that William didn't like him for whatever reason, because William is a twisted person and no one likes him. But anyways, once that's over, that's basically it. Michael was against William in the court cases. Yeah, Michael was against William. But now let's fast forward to 1996. The year after the events in this What If end. Michael is now happily married to a girl named Samantha, and those who have read the Fazbear Fright series, you might recognize that name, but more on that later. They end up adopting a small child, and that might not seem like much, except for in Gacha Life videos, children are cute. But that's not the point. The point is what the child's name is. The child's name is Vanessa. Now that, which is the common belief to be Vanny's real name, but in one of Cin Tan Studios' other AUs, Vanessa is the night guard that will be in security breach, so I don't know if, like, Vanessa would be Vanny in the what ifs, but that's just me. So let's go with Vanessa. Let's say Vanessa is around 13 or 12, and she notices that every night, her dad leaves to go somewhere, but she doesn't know where. So one day she just follows him. I don't know how, but let's say that happens, and she sees Michael crying in front of a grave, and that grave says, "Here lies Evan Afton." And then she saw two other graves with the names Elizabeth and William Afton, and she realized that her daddy was sad because he can't see his family anymore. So Vanessa starts to do some research on his family's past, and he stumbles upon William's research for immortality. There she studies more and more about Remnant and all of that stuff, until eventually something that comes around that is something holy to literally anyone who has gone to school: summer vacation. Like Five Nights at Candy's 3, Vanessa would end up going to Freddy's every day, since Charlie now owns the place since Henry retired. However, it's not the same place. It is the FNAF 2 location. And the withered animatronics are still there, and the toy animatronics are completely the same, except for three things. Balloon Boy is sadly still there. No, but seriously though, the other thing is that Mangle is fixed, and the puppet looks slightly different. But other than that, it's basically the FNAF 2 location. Vanessa is still researching about Remnant, but then one day she looks into the parts and service store and sees one white pupil, and then it disappears behind the door as it closes. Then Vanessa walks into the hallway and opens the door, where she sees all of the withered animatronics. She's not scared at first because she's seen this stuff before, but she saw two things that she did not see before: a withered spring Bonnie suit laying in the corner. But there was one other thing lurking in the shadows. Vanessa asked who was there, and out came a yellow bear. It was like a yellow version of Freddy, but it had no eyes and white pupils. It was Golden Freddy. 10 minutes? This is my longest video so far. Anyways, back on topic. They introduced themselves, and Vanessa realizes that that is Evan. So now she works harder on the whole research thing, actually doing stuff other than researching William's immortality experiments. One night, when all the parents are asleep and she should be asleep. Sorry. She goes down to the abandoned circus babies rental thing, and there she meets Baby, or Elizabeth. And so Vanessa helps Elizabeth escape, and then she brings her to Charlie's garage, because that's where she works on all the animatronics, and hides her there, along with Evan, and so the two reunite. Now there is only one person that Vanessa has to get, and that is William. Through researching the immortality experiments, she learns something very valuable. So another night, definitely not the same night, and I know that usually means, oh yeah, it was the same night, but it wasn't. She went to that graveyard and dug up William's grave. And when she finally hit the coffin, she opened it to see something that horrified her, because it was just a bunch of mangled parts. In fact, some of the blood wasn't even dry. It was totally disgusting. Fortunately, though, that is what Vanessa wanted. She took out a needle and took some of the dead William's blood. Please be quiet. Sorry about that. Anyways, the next day when she went back to Freddy's, she went back to the parts and service room, and injected the blood into the empty spring Bonnie suit. Then its fingers started moving, and eventually it got up. Thank you for being more quiet. And William was confused and was like, where am I? Who the heck are you? And Vanessa was like, okay, calm down, William. I am your adoptive granddaughter, and I read your whole immortality thing and brought you back. And William was thankful, but she saw an opportunity to take control of Vanessa and make her her own puppet, and so because William is so weak in that broken spring Bonnie suit at the time, she needs Vanessa to do tasks for her. Her first task is to dismantle the withered animatronics, because he knew that since he is back, the dead souls of the children would come back too. So, and then, her next task was pretty dark. It was to get, an adult from the party, perhaps a regular guard, get him into the parts and service room, and somehow get him into the broken spring Bonnie suit, and then set off the spring locks, which Vanessa hesitates a lot while doing this, but she does want to please her grandfather so they can all reunite again. So eventually, that person dies, and William can now move around again. She thanks, Vanessa, and pats her on the head. But then something happens. The four souls, they come out of nowhere, and they recognize that William as the killer, but they don't really care about Vanessa. So they go to attack William, and Vanessa is concerned until Cassidy comes out of nowhere and defends them. The souls recognize Cassidy, and they're like, "Oh, hey Cassidy, why are you preventing us from doing this?" And Cassidy is like, "You're trying to hurt my niece, since like when one of your parents when one of your parents has a friend, you refer to them as an uncle or aunt." If that makes sense. And they're like, "Vanessa's a traitor." And then Cassidy's like, "Huh? What do you mean?" But then William grabs her by the neck, and threatening to take her life. It is only now that Vanessa sees that William wasn't the best person. So she doesn't know what to do at first. But she had to act quickly or Cassidy would end up dying. And then she gets an idea. She runs up to William and jumps, grabbing onto his feet. And William's like, "Hey, let go!" And then Vanessa presses some sort of trigger in the spring locks that and to make sure that the endoskeleton would just stop working, and then William falls to the ground. Cassidy, catching her breath, takes Vanessa back to the party, and then she explains the whole thing that happened in the Cin Tan story thing, like with her being the night guard, and Vanessa now sees that William was a true monster. But this didn't mean that that everything was over. She still had the opportunity to bring Evan and Elizabeth to Michael. So one night when they were having a family movie night, Vanessa just pauses the movie out of nowhere and is like, "Daddy, I have something to show you." And Michael's like, What do you mean?" And then Vanessa opens her the garage door to reveal the giant circus baby and the mysterious golden Freddy. They are both scared at first, but then circus baby playfully hugs Michael, and Michael is confused. And he's like, "Vanessa, why is circus baby hugging me?" And then circus baby says, "Mikey." And Michael's like, "What the heck? How do you know my name? Vanessa, what did you do?" And then Vanessa's like, I researched Grandpa William's immortality stuff, and then I found Evan and Elizabeth. And at that moment, both of the parents freeze. And then Michael, slightly turns his head towards Circus Baby. Elizabeth? Yes, it's me. And then they both hug, as Michael cries. He sees Evan in the Golden Freddy suit. He seems angry at first, and Michael is concerned. But Evan was immediately like, I can't forgive you, but I'm glad to see you again. And then Samantha looks sad, and Vanessa asks what was wrong, and Samantha is like, well, I'm just glad that Michael got to reunite with his siblings again, but I just wish that I could reunite with my sister again. Vanessa asks what Samantha's sister's name was, and Samantha says, "Oh, it was Susie," and then Vanessa just brings in the withered Chica animatronic, which was now reassembled, and then she turned it on, and then the Chica stares at Samantha and says, "Samantha?" and then they both immediately know that it is each other, and so they hug it out.